And today we're going to talk about the best way to make money if you can get it right, which is business investing. Okay? Problem with business investing is it's also the riskiest. 95% of all businesses do not survive the first year. Okay? But this is also the fastest way of money. And to illustrate that, I want to bring back when we did stock market investing. I gave you this illustration that's found in Phil Town's book called Rule1 Strategy, where Phil Town said this. He says, let's say you have 2 teenage kids, okay? And this summer, you tell your teenage kids, this summer I don't want you to go and work. I just want you to work 1 month. The hottest month of the year, which is what? August? July, August? Let's say August. So you can take the time off, but I only want you to work 1 month of the year, which is the month of August. Okay? And this is what I want you to do. Mom and Dad are going to give you $300. Okay? And what we want you, both of you guys, to do is, during the month of August, take that $300, go and buy as much lemonade as you can. Okay? You're going to set up a lemonade stand, right? Buy the stuff to make lemonade, sugar, whatever the ingredients are, lemons, sugar, water. Make up some posters, go to Staples, make some flyers. And during the hottest month of the year, okay, go to Home Depot, buy a table if you need to, okay? Set it up with $300, right? During the hottest month of the year, want you to be in the middle of traffic, soccer games, okay? Buskers, wherever there's traffic, a lot of people, put up your lemonade stand and sell your lemonades for $1 each, okay? Hottest month, lemonade, cool, ice. You think people will pay $1 for it? And you put 2 little cute kids there, right? So if they do that for 1 whole month, let's say they work 6 weeks, Sabbath we don't work, so 6 days a week. Do you think they can pull in, how many lemonades do you think they can sell in a day? If they would start like 9 o'clock in the morning, go up to 6 o'clock in the evening, how many lemonades do you think they could sell in a day? Take a shot. Anybody? How many? 100? More or less? Anybody else? So let's say 100. 100 would be reasonable, okay? So they made $100 a day. 6 days a week, $600. So you tell them when you give them the $300, this is what you're going to do. Okay, if you need me to drive you, I'll drive you. Okay, we'll support you with your partners. Okay, but at the end of the month, we're going to settle accounts. Okay? So you let them run for the whole month of August. Guess what's going to happen on August 31st? If they sell $100 a day minimum, right? $600 times 4, $2,400. So you do an accounting with them. I gave you $300. Give me back my $300. $2,100 on $300. You know how many percent that is? In 1 month. Okay? You see how powerful business is? If you get the right business. Okay? Just to show you so that, next time you go to the bank and they say, we are, we're the highest interest rate. So what interest rates are you giving? 2%. Okay? So next time they tell you that, remember this. 2,100 divided by 300 times 100 is 700%. 1 month, okay? Multiply that, annualize that, 12 months, that's 8,400%. You see how powerful business is? But there are certain realities here, isn't it? There are certain constraints here. Number one, you can't sell lemonades in December. Nobody's going to buy lemonades in December, okay? Number two, these are teenagers. Come fall, they got to go back to school. Labor is going back. It's going to be out of action. Right. But who cares? Who cares? If I'm mom and dad, I'm leaving $300 in my bank account. I'm making less than 2%, okay? And if I make 700% just in 1 month, it's not like way out there already? You see how powerful business is, okay? So, but the trick with business is most people don't know what they're doing when they get into business. Let me give you an example. In preparation for this, we're going to talk about franchisers. I have a friend who has a franchise, okay? So yesterday I went up to him and I said to him, look, I'm going to be talking about franchisers tomorrow, okay? When I talk, I don't want to be dry and technical because that's no fun, okay? So I want to talk real numbers here. So I said, I'm going to ask you some questions. You don't have to answer me if you don't want to answer me, okay? But I said, whatever you tell me, it's going to be strictly confidential, and I'm not going to mention your company, I'm not going to mention your name, I'm just going to share the information. So this is all real information I'm giving you yesterday. So I go to this friend, and I said, how long have you owned this franchise? He said 5. He said, I just finished my 5th year. Okay? How much did you pay for it? He said, we put in $50,000 to $60,000. I said, did you put any more money along the way? And I know he did, okay, because he's done a lot of improvements and whatnot. He said, we put in another 20. So 65, 20, he's in for 75,000, right? So I asked him, I said, are you profitable? He said, no. But he says the revenue is growing every year. So I said, what did you do last year? He said, over $200,000, right? Then he says to me, I'm not profitable. Not only am I not profitable, for the last 5 years, I've never taken out a salary. This guy this is his second career. His wife is a CEO of a very big organization in town. And so, the money's, it's not the issue for him. Okay? He doesn't need it to survive. But you see, okay, you've put in $75,000. Here's the best part of it, clincher. How many hours do you put in per week? He said about 48 to 50 hours per week. 48 to 50 hours per week, 5 years, okay? Not taking out a salary. Why are you doing this? Okay? Yet people do that, okay? Because, I don't know, it's our humanity, isn't it? We do crazy things like that, okay? So, hence the reason why we do this, because in business, if you can find the right business, okay, you can make a lot of money. But, that's the tricky part, okay? So this is what we're going to get into today. All right, so let's talk about business investing. I'll skip this one here. Business investing. So when you come into business investing, you need to ask what it is that I'm getting into. More important than what is why. And once you've answered that question, why, is where, okay? So the what, I'm going to talk right now as to where possibly you could invest in. We're going to address the what in a second, okay? I think I've already addressed the why, okay? The why is because it is very, very powerful if you can get the right one, okay? And where, we'll show you where, okay? So again, coming back to the what, 3 places in business. One is in an operating company, the other one is in a franchise, and the third is in network marketing. And the reason we do it is we expect at least a 50%, 700%, 1 month, 8,004 per year. Okay? All we are saying here, we're being very conservative. We said we want more than 3.25. We want 50% before tax, so that after tax, even after we pay the tax, we'll make 25%, which is about 8 times what we get in our war chest, right? But like I said, if you get the right business, the possibilities are crazy. So the first one is operating companies, second one is franchises, third one is network marketing companies. So let's talk about the first one, which is the operating companies. Now, all of us in this room have got talent, some kind of talent. We are good at something, okay? Roone153 Financial Advisors, our unique ability is to get in front of people and make their financial future very clear to them. This is what we do best, okay? IT, medical profession, education, this is your area of expertise. Okay? You're good at something. You've got expertise in that. You've acquired knowledge either through a school or on the job. Okay? Then on top of that, you've got experience. Okay? Every day that you spend on your job, you're getting more. You're doing the same thing over and over again. You're getting better and better at this. Okay? Question is, whose pockets are you lining with all of that? Okay? This is what's happening if you're an employee. Okay? And I'm not saying that all of us can be entrepreneurs. Okay? I just want to create some thought here. When you are an employee, your employer has created the environment. Okay? You come in, you take your talent, your expertise, and your experience, and you do the work. Right? Guess who keeps the profits? He pays you a salary. He keeps the profits. How about we create the environment? We take our talent, we take our expertise, we take our experience, and we keep the profits. Okay? Sometimes it's doable, sometimes it's not doable, right? If I'm a nurse working in a hospital, I can't go out and create a hospital. It's not feasible to do that, right? But in some things, IT people, for instance, okay, went up to Moncton to do I wanted to put an ad on the Christian radio channel for advisors. Went up to Moncton, and after we did the ad, he says to me, I'm typing this off, I'm sending it off to Daryl in London, Ontario. I said, who's Daryl? He said, Daryl's my employee. He's in Moncton. Daryl's his employee in London. So he says, I'm telling Daryl, put this and these spots. So I said, Daryl is in Ontario, is in London? He said, yeah. He said, Daryl just logs in and does the work from London. You could be in Sierra Leone to do this with proper internet connection. Do you follow what I'm saying? You don't have to be here to do this, right? Daryl is in London. He said Daryl was his employee from here. He was in Halifax. He was in Burnside. Then he moved his office to Moncton. Daryl moved on to London, Ontario, but he liked Daryl, so he kept him on. So Daryl just, from London, Ontario, logs in and does his work from London, Ontario. Okay. Doable? Very doable. Some occupations lend themselves to that. Okay? So if you're an employee, and if you are 10, 15 years, think about this. Okay? About 15 years ago, in this church, we used to have a men's breakfast. Every Thursday, men got together. We would meet at Tim Hortons. You know, iron sharpens iron. We just wanted to help each other out. You know, men sit down and talk about, you know. There was a young guy who had just come in from Newfoundland, and he was in IT. So I asked him the question. I said, why didn't you ask your employer, you know, to hire you on a contract basis? Sure, you're going to give up some stuff, you know, benefits and whatnot. But because they're hiring you on a contract, you're doing the same work, but as an independent contractor, right? And the reason why I suggested it to him because of the tax rates. Because as an employee, if you're making $100,000, you're paying taxes at a very high tax rate, okay? But if you get the same amount in a corporation, you're paying only 15% tax on that earned income. Big difference, 50% versus 15%, you got some control. This is all, but of course, he went to his employer, and they won't hear of it. They said, no, you're an employee, and you know, that's it, that's how we engage you. But sometimes when you ask the question, they might say yes. Okay, they might say yes, no difference to us. You want to be an employee, you want to be, as long as you do the job. Okay, they don't care, right? And if they don't, you do it. But what I'm talking about here is if you've got experience, if you've got talent, you know, think about starting your own business, okay, on the side, with your employer's knowledge, because we are, you know, we are people with complete integrity, okay? When we work for people, we want to be the best employee on the job, right? We never take, you know, anything away from them. With their permission, if they allow you to do it on the side, even contract with them, great, okay? But do something. And then next session, we're going to talk about retirement planning. Our retirement planning is not what the world teaches, okay? You don't take your life experience and your talent and all and go and sit in a rocking chair and watch internet, you know, watch TV or play golf or whatever it is, okay? You do those things minimally, but you take everything else you got now and go make the world a better place, okay? That's the proper way to retire, right? All right, so the first thing you can do is start an operating company if it's feasible, okay? With your talent, with your time, with your experience, start a company. Now, this will involve either on a part-time or full-time basis a lot of time, okay? People who start companies, they know that, okay? They don't have a life, especially at the beginning when you're setting this up, all right? Now, if that's not possible, you know, if you say, look, I am not entrepreneur, I don't have an entrepreneurial bent, okay, don't have the knowledge, don't have the expertise, then the other thing you could do is if you don't have it, buy a system, okay? A proven name, a proven system. When I go into McDonald's or Subway, I don't know who the owners are. I'm buying into a name. Okay? I know that, you know, certain ways, you know, I have certain expectations of what I can expect when I go there. Okay? It's been branded as such. So if you don't have the, you buy an established name, you buy a proven system, right? But the problem there is it costs a lot of money. And in a next slide, you know, a bit further down, I'm going to show you how much it really costs, okay? And it may or may not involve a lot of time. Remember my friend, the franchise owner, 48 to 50 hours a week he has to put in, okay? In addition to $75,000. Time, money, and, you know, he's bought a proven system, but he's not making money, okay? Now, the other, if you don't have the time or the money, you can get into what's called network marketing or multi-level marketing. Some of the names would be Amway, Avon, okay, where you're making money from the efforts of other people. Recruitment. Primerica is one that does, in my world, financial services. Primerica does that. Okay? They hire advisors, and then, you know, it's residual income that comes in. I'm an advocate for that, okay? But the problem with this whole area of network marketing and multi-level marketing is there's a lot of hype around it. Okay? A lot of it is just fluff. Okay? You come there and they sell you these big dreams and always show you all the possibilities. You know? Have a meeting once a week, once a month, or whatever it is. And it's just hype, 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 hype. Okay? So the trick there is to find the right company, the right product. Now, when I say right company, it's because many of them implode, okay? Because this model works, okay? Because you're recruiting, the exponential growth can be there and can be substantial. And what I've seen in the past is even 10 years out, 20 years out, they implode on themselves. They can't sustain the growth, okay? And the whole thing collapses, right? And then you lose your credibility because you brought in your friends, your relatives, and people who trusted you, all right? So make sure that you do the research. It's the right company. Don't buy into the hype. Make sure it's the right product, something that you believe in. Okay, don't be selling something for the sake of selling it. Believe in what you're selling. Use it yourself, right? Make sure you're dealing with the right people, people with impeccable integrity who won't cut corners, okay? Because you're going to bed with them, okay? So you don't want to be associated with people who are shady in any way, all right? And last of all, your timing has to be right. Most of these network marketing things, if you don't come in at the right time, you're on the tail end, okay? And then they'll talk about all these big checks and all this big income revenues and whatnot. It's somebody else who's made this. You're coming on the tail end, okay? Make sure you're on the front end, okay? You're sitting on the, okay? So just be careful of this. The entry level is usually not much. To sign up, to buy the kit, it's $100, $200, $300, okay? But it's the time that's involved, it's your credibility that's involved. Don't waste your time, okay? Great model. Just be careful of these 4 rights, okay? Make sure that these are all right. Okay, so how do you get into business? Either you use your talent, your expertise, your experience, okay? And slowly start forming a business on the side, okay? Where either you're consulting on your own or you're working with your employers. If you're employed by someone, make sure that they're fully aware of what you're doing and that they consent to it, okay? And if they don't agree, then you stick to being an employee. And if you cannot agree with that, break away, okay? But don't be double dipping, all right? Because we're just not like that, all right? Second way, like I said, is if you have the money, buy a franchise. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a second because I want to talk about the Roone153 Financial Advisors franchise. And lastly, if you don't have the money all the time, and ever so often you're going to get network marketing, multi-level marketing ideas come across, or somebody's going to approach you, okay? Just be careful of what I've just said about that. All right? Now with that, I want to come back to franchisers. I want to show you something. And then I want to bring up the Roone153 Financial. Now, I believe we have internet access here. This CFA stands for the Canadian Franchise Association. Okay? Okay, we are online. All right. This is the CFA Canadian Franchise Association. Just want to show you something here. Now, if I go to member directory, looking for a franchise, and let's say browse franchisers. Okay, name me a franchise that you know out there, big name, small name franchise. Anybody? Starbucks? Somebody said it's not Starbucks, it's $5.
Yeah. You go for one coffee, it's like $5. Wow, where did you get the coffee?
But you're not buying a coffee, you're buying an experience. I don't think they are part of the Canadian Franchise Association.
I don't think they are.
They don't want to pay the fee. Somebody.
What about second cup?
Second cup? There you go. Okay, What I wanted to show you is this, okay? Sometimes they say what they say, and I just wanted to give you a basis of comparison. It says startup capital required, 120,000, right? Investment required, minimum net worth, because there's ongoing monies that you got to put in. Okay, I just want to give you a basis of comparison. So some of the other things: training 6 weeks, franchise units in Canada 360. But notice what they don't show you here, and they won't. Okay, because when I was doing my franchise documents, there's a lawyer and I got him from the Canadian Franchise Association out of London, Ontario. He's a top lawyer when it comes to franchisers. He specializes in franchises. And he told me that they won't, okay, because they're not allowed to give out projections, because this is all based on what happens on the ground. And there have been too many problems in the past where when they put a projection and it doesn't come through, and people, all kinds of lawsuits, so they don't allow you to. So it's hard to, see, my friend there who bought this franchise, okay, he meant well, okay, and he bought this 5 years into it, he's not making money. So he took a shot in the dark, okay. So I just wanted to show you this. Any others? Name another one or two, and then I'll come. Tim Hortons. Yeah, maybe I could, eh? Where?
Yeah, it's above that, yeah.
Here? Okay.
And you use this website how often?
I don't. All right, Tim Hortons. So let's look at this one. Franchise fee, 50,000, right? Investment requirement, 203. So you have to have about 250,000 to do this. So units in Canada and USA and international, right? One more.
It's more expensive than second car.
Yeah.
Second car was 120,000.
Yeah, we 40K franchise fee.
It's 253 altogether. It's not 40, it's 253. That's two. They just broke it up into two.
Oh, okay. But the other one too, isn't it?
But it was less, right?
Yeah, the second one is
Less. It would be less, depending on the name. And name me another one, and then we'll move on.
McDonald's.
McDonald's? You think it's because of that? Is it? It's not MAC, it's MC.
I think it's because American, that's why it's not from us.
Which is why?
It's American.
American. Okay, it could be. Anyways, my point is, you could bring any one of these up. Okay, two things you'll notice. Okay, you can go to the CFSA and sort of play with these numbers, pick franchises that you know of, and what you want to do is find out if you are going to buy a franchise. You want to know how much money is needed, what the requirements are, and the other thing is you are taking a shot in the dark because there's no way of knowing how much money they won't tell you. Okay, because they don't want to get into trouble by putting projections out. And the other thing that you'll notice about all of these franchises, as is the case of my friend, right, is that you have to put in time, okay? And, until it sort of takes off the ground where you can sort of stand back and let the employees run it, right? Initially, at least, you've got to put in a lot of time. So I want to show you, with that, the Roone153 Financial Advisors. When I decided, and I'm showing this to you because you are here, and typically what happens is, I'm trying to understand why this is not. IT people, help me here. Okay, are we up there? Okay, anyways, just want to show you this. When somebody approaches me, or I approach someone, and it's usually I approach people to become a franchisee, and I would approach them because I know they have investments, okay? And my pitch to them is very simple, right? I'll call you and say, Herbert, you've got investments. So what is the return on your investment? Okay? And half of them would know. They can tell you what the ROI is, the average. The other half will not know, not sure. Okay? Sort of just hoping for the best as much as possible, right? So what I say to them is, look, if I can show you a way to make minimum 7% on your money and possibly up to 119%, is that something that might be of interest to you? Okay? And most people would say, yeah, show me. Okay? That's why I'm investing, because I want to make money on my money. That's why I put my money in the stock market. Okay? But here's the difference. Okay? So when I wanted to do this, the Lord wanted me to go out there and empower 153 other financial advisors to do this. The question is, how do we do this? Okay? What model do we use? Do I just go out and hire them? And finally, it settled down that we're going to use a franchise model. Okay? But it's not a complete franchise model. We have elements of a franchise, okay, which is why I had to use a franchise lawyer. But here's where it's different. Okay? The franchisee does not have to put in any time other than praying for the advisor. Okay? So we set up a corporation. I'm going to set up, and we've already set up the first one in Halifax. And it's all demographically and income based, okay? So our target market, we know exactly who we're after, okay? If you've ever seen a scope of a rifle, crosshairs of a rifle, that's our target, okay? The target market, here's the people in our crosshairs. Christian couples with children, household income of at least $50K, within 1 hour's drive of where the advisor lives, okay, between the ages of 25 to 55. Okay, why? This is our sweet spot, right? Because if we can get in front of these people and get them to commit to the GPS process, we can take them through these steps, okay? Along the way, we have to buy insurance. If they're between 25 to 55, 1 out of 3 applications that we put in comes in clean, the way we applied for it. One comes back with some hiccups. Okay? They either want more money or they want to delay it or something like that, and one gets rejected, all because of health reasons. For that reason, we focus on this, okay? Because chances are, the insurance will go through much easier. So based on this, I have identified 75 centers across Canada where the population requirements meet this. Okay, now when we say Christian couples with children, we're talking about evangelical Christians. In Canada, there's 34 million people. Only 1 out of 10 is an professing evangelical Christian. And by evangelical Christian, I mean you're born again as per John chapter 3, and that you believe the Bible is the living word of God. Because if those two things are there, then the GPS process will resonate with you, okay, because it's biblically based, right? So based on that, 75 centers across Canada. In HRM, we're only going to be able to put 2 because our market is the evangelical community. In the South Shore 1, North Shore 1, Cape Breton 1, 2 in New Brunswick, 1 in St. John, 1 in New Brunswick, 1 in Moncton, and 1 in Charlottetown to cover all of PI. 1 in Newfoundland, St. John's, Newfoundland to cover all of, okay? And across Canada, 74 in Ontario, 32 in Quebec, and then out west, okay, to make up 153, all right? Now, each one of this, the way that we're going to operate is we're going to set up a local corporation, okay? The first one that was set up was called Roone153 HRM1, Financial Advisors, Inc. Now, this has already been set up. It was set up March the 21st, okay? And as we go along, as we become ready, we just set up new corporations, 153 across the country. In this corporation, there's a franchisee who puts in $100K, okay? And why would they put in $100K? For these reasons. This ROI, return to franchisee, do you see this here? Okay, across the board. There are 10 levels of production. My advisors whom we hire, by contract, they have to produce at level 1, okay? If at the end of 12 months, they don't get past level 1, the contract terminates, Okay? Because something is very wrong there if they're producing at level 1. Because at level 1, we are just keeping them alive, paying them a basic salary, paying their business expenses. Okay? What we need them to do is move up to level 5, which is here, which is why I highlighted it in purple, which is very doable. Why I say doable? Because in the past 5 years, when being the prototype, when I get in front of evangelical Christians and say to them, will you commit to this? 1 out of 2, the reaction is this: where have you been all my life? Okay? I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. My left hand doesn't know what my right hand is doing. I'm chasing my own tail. My kids are coming to school age now. I haven't saved a penny for them. I'm approaching retirement. I don't have any substantial funds. I'm moving in a financial fog. And you come along and you say that you're going to help me become financially free. Where have you been all my life? I'll sign it, whatever you want me to sign. 1 out of 2, okay? So 1 out of 2, when you're seeing 10 people per week, our levels of production are 10, okay? Because we have to see 10 people per week. If 1 out of 2 will sign the covenant agreement, you are at level 5 already. You follow? 5 out of 10, okay? The other one who does not commit, there are reasons for that. They'll say something like this: not convinced, too many irons in the fire, want to see how they play out. Or I have a great relationship with so-and-so advisor, or so-and-so advisor is my relative, or whatever. For those people, we keep the door open. We say to them, do you mind if I keep in touch with you? Okay? Can I check with you in 6 months, in a year? Let's just keep in touch. And my experience has been that whether it takes a month, whether it takes a year, whether it takes 5 years, these people, half of them will come back to us. Because whatever they are trying out there will not work. Okay? It involves debt, it involves stock market, which is all hit and miss. Okay? For some of them it will work, but half of them, over time, what we said, they will remember and they will come back. Okay? They'll come back to us. All right, so they put in the money because we're going to do that. Because at the end of 12 months, because this is a corporation, the accountant is going to prepare financial statements. Okay? When he prepares financial statements, so I'll just show you the number. So in level 1, the franchisee puts in $100,000. 50,000 of the first 50,000 comes to me as the franchisor. Now you might think I'm greedy, right? I want to take 50. Not really. Yeah. All of these things cost a lot of money. The lawyer that I'm doing the franchise documents, that itself costs $17,000. Okay? Legal fees. So it costs a lot of money, and for what we want to do, there's going to be a lot of money needed. All right? Now the only thing that I might do when I get some extra money is buy some hair. But that's about it. All right? So the other $50,000 goes towards the working capital of the advisor that we bring in. That's what we use to pay their weekly stipend, okay, to put food on the table, keep the light bills on, put gas in the car, pay all the expenses so that they can work. And what they're expected to do is 1 out of 10, and because of our formula, they will produce $90,000 a year. Out of that $90,000, I have to pay taxes, corporate taxes at 38%. I don't get the small business tax deduction because I will own all of these 153 corporations. If I only own one of them and it's making less than $400,000, I would, okay? But because I'm owning all of them, I don't get that benefit. So I have to pay taxes at 38%. So $25,000 will go to taxes. We've got $64,000 left. We take $50,000 for the following year's working capital because that advisor still has to be paid the following year, right? We've got $14,000 left. The accountant will cut a check of $7,460 to you, the franchisee, okay, with a copy of the financial statements, and you will get this privilege for the next 10 years. Okay, you've got a license to share the profits with us for the next 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, there's an option in there that's built in the legal franchise document where you can renew this for another 10 years at $100,000, okay? So it's a privilege to make money. But what I do expect is my advisors to do this, and I will do everything this is expected. Now, ever so often, we're going to get somebody who is a go-getter, and they will go and they will be able to produce at level 8 or 9, where to you, the franchisee, the return on investment is 105 or 119%, okay? You get these advisors who just are good at what they do. They'll hit the ball out of the park. And when they do, you, the franchisee, will be getting a check each year of about $100,000 for putting in $100,000. That's a lot of money, okay? Remember we said, you know, the 2 kids, 700%? This is something that's doable. It's not something that it's from experience, right? So the franchisee makes this, and there's 0 time involved for the franchise. Remember my friend, 48, 50 hours a week? The first franchisee just cut me a check for $100,000. They don't have to do anything else but pray for the advisor, okay? And if they live in the same vicinity as the advisor, the franchisee, they can refer business to the advisor, especially if you're moving in the same circles, right? The body of Christ is who we're after. So refer the body of Christ to the franchise. So I just wanted to give you a comparison, okay? On what's out there, remember the 2, 3, 4 franchises we looked at? You know, the amount of money that they ask, right? And then there's no, you don't even know what you're in for because they're not going to give you the numbers. Whereas our franchises know exactly what they're going to get, okay? 7%. What's very doable is 63% on your money, but ever so often 105 to 119% for 10 years, okay? All right, with that, I'll take any questions. Are there any questions? On today's, on the GPS process or on the business investments, operating companies, franchises, and network marketing companies, or on the Roone153 Financial Financial Advisors Ministry franchise? No? If not, thank you very much for coming out. I know you had choices with your time, and you chose to be here. If you found value in what we're doing, and if you think there's value here, please be our advocates. Okay, in the next 90 days, you're going to be rubbing shoulders with people that you care about, who are moving in a financial fog. Okay, and if you become sensitive to that, invite them to come, bring them along. Okay, if you're coming in a car and there's 3 other seats, pull somebody along. You'll be doing them a favor. Okay, because you'll be pointing them in the right direction. So if you'll take a few minutes and fill up the feedback and survey, and I will see you in 90 days from now, in July. Thank you.